So this is the USGA match play. The way this works is it's about a month-long qualifier, and top 64 scores will go into bracket play. And there'll be 4 brackets of 16 players, and then the winners of each bracket will move on to the semifinals, where they'll play live on stream. So the semifinals and the finals will all be streamed live. So a pretty cool event. The winner is going to win tickets to the U.S. Open next year, along with a $500 gift card to the U.S. Open gift shop and a $500 American Express gift card. And I think there's a Golf in there as well. So not too shabby of a prize here. And it's Chambers Bay, which I really love. And like I said, this was I had just posted 17 under. Like I played it just one round real quick this morning before work and played it all the way through. You know, just got pretty lucky and birdied one. And then this is my second attempt. Not accessible for Europeans. I don't know. I don't know what the limitations are, but right here, this worked out really well with this win. Just worked out to be just a perfect 6-iron. Now I was trying to land this a little short. I was a little shocked when I didn't get the heartbeat. But it carried about 3 yards further than I thought it should have. So not ideal. I really don't like this putt. Ideally, you want to be short of the pin, but that's easier said than done. This putt, after I started looking at it, I'm like, well, it's not really that bad. It's got some foot brake, but pretty gentle once you get on the hill. There's Josh. Going for that minus 19. Yeah, I think you know, that's the goal. 18, 19 under, something like that. Somewhere in that range. This round's not going to be as slow as the E-Tour rounds. So picked my line pretty quick, felt pretty good about it. And just kind of jammed it in the cup there. That was a good bird. It's always good to birdie one. But not something where I was willing to sit here and grind the first hole till I birdied it. You've got ego opportunities here. It's kind of the way I look at it. So if you're looking at like 18, 19 under, you don't always have to birdie the first hole here. This one, I like going down the left side of the fairway. You can go down the right. A lot of people don't even know you can go down that left side, but you can. I just like the angle better. I think most people probably prefer the right fairway. Just to me, it's awkward. I just really like coming in on this line. See, this is a Jay Smithers shot wearing off on me. I'm putting spin on wedges a little bit, which is a little weird. But I accidentally pulled that a little bit, so I kind of took it offline. Distance was spot on, though. But this leaves kind of like a tricky putt. Like, this one's easy to miss if you hit it. I'd say most players are going to hit this like slow and try to drop it in at speed, whereas your better players are going to play this firm. They're just going to take a lot of the breakout and hit it firm. The E-Tour qualifier is at Kiowa, which we're going to play right after this. So this was a good win. I don't really necessarily... I overplayed this win quite a bit because my miss is I like to pull it. So I try to give myself room to hit a pull because, I don't know, I just really love pulling it here, which I did. I hit the pull, but again, built that into the wind aim. So it wasn't too bad. It came up a lot shorter than I thought, but it also spun like much more than I thought. That actually landed pin high and came back 3 yards. So I didn't anticipate all that backspin. Is there a distance at which you should double JC Sneed? No, not really. This is one of those putts I had that, I don't know, sometimes I miss because I get a little lazy with reading it. So I tried to take my time a little bit on reading this putt. But it was pretty simple. Nothing too crazy about it. I just wanted to make sure I hit it, you know, decently firm here. Didn't want it sliding off on me on the low side. And then we're going to go to 4. So par 5, and I like this win. I was like, oh, this is a great win. I would much rather take a headwind here, on moderate winds anyway, than a tailwind. Much easier to control the ball. I was kind of hoping this was going to be the wind, and in this, you got to check camera 4, by the way, to get the real wind. So we can see, not ideal coming off from that direction. We'd rather it be going the other way. So you'd rather left to right into the green, that we could work it into the slope. Kind of working it with the slope here is a little dangerous sometimes. But like I said, I had a pretty good number. About a 75% back 3-iron. But I left myself, I got a little unlucky. If that goes like 2 yards further, it comes all the way back down to the pin. I had a really dodgy putt here. But it's one I've had a lot, but I couldn't remember which side. I knew it wasn't going to break much. I was just trying to remember, okay, when I've missed this putt in the past, which side did I miss it on? So I started to play on this side. I was about ready to hit it right here. Just out of memory, like I'm not seeing it necessarily, but I was trying to remember. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I miss. I just need to misting this. Like I remember telling myself, just hit this putt with a misting and it's good. So at some point in the past, I've had this putt and made it. Although I should have mistinged it a little more. But I got really lucky and dropped that one. Now we come to 5. I don't know, 5's one of those I feel like I should birdie every time, but I don't know. I go through periods where I struggle on this hole for some weird reason. It's not difficult. For your better players, it's pretty easy. Biggest thing, you just don't want to make sure, you don't want to be short left. Such a weird putt. Anywhere short is going to leave you with some break. Pin high left, like 5 feet, is not bad. Even pin high right is not too bad. I was just telling myself here, whatever you do, don't pull it. I felt like I was really on the outskirts aiming too much. And when I do par on this hole, I feel like it's because I aim, it's that left to right wind and I pull it. I left myself with a little bender. It was not ideal. I was not overly pleased with this shot by any means. There's so many flatter putts you can have on this pin. Like I said, if I could leave it like somewhere down here, it's so easy. Like anywhere here, easy birdie. So just ended up playing this, not too firm really, just playing it more almost at speed for me. Almost missed on the high side, but didn't want it to break out on me. And this is a really good win. I don't know, most people probably wouldn't like this win, but I was like, oh, this is great. For a full backspin player, you want to see a little bit of a headwind here. It's definitely beneficial for full backspin players to have a headwind on this hole. And it's like a perfect one because you can just basically just take dead aim. Just landed a little short of the pin, just let it release out a little bit, but it's like, for me, probably the best win possible. I think it worked out to where it was like a 3-iron, just take a little bit of spin off. Playing it something, probably like 220 if I had to guess, was the number I was playing it. You always get left to right tailwind here. Yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah, it looks like I'm playing this probably like, I don't know, 85% back, roughly 80. Find out in a second. 93. Yeah, so I just call that one tick up. Hit a good shot. Got the heartbeat, so you know it's gonna be pretty good. I left myself with a pretty easy putt. I don't really end up on this side too often, so I had to take a little extra look because you just, I don't know, I don't find myself on this side. Usually I'm right of the pin, not left. That's one of those where I'm like, is this really the break or not? I just haven't had enough time and experience on this side. And if I do miss, I'm usually kind of where my feet are, but like 3 feet past that. So a little more like pin high-ish. Went back and forth on this one. I was like, man, I'm going to be mad if I miss this on the high side. I kind of underpowered it a little bit. So I meant to hit that a little firmer, and I didn't. So then I got lazy and mistinged it. And this wind, I was like, ugh, that's going to leave. That's always going to be like a side wind second shot. When you see that wind, you know it's basically going to be like a side wind, which isn't really ideal here. I'd rather have the headwind. I'm cool with the headwind off the tee, but give me the headwind in the fairway too. I didn't take a horribly aggressive line. I could have played that slightly more aggressive, but there's nothing worse than finding the bunker on this hole. A little bit of an awkward shot. It's playing probably, let's see, if I'm looking at that, it's probably playing like 186, 187 would probably be the number I'm playing here. Yeah, I think I was playing at 187 for my number. And then in terms of like wind aim, I always take off. I take off about 10% or so because it's so far uphill. I play about 10% less than what I'm thinking. Did a nice ding. Got the heartbeat. That's always good. Yo, Mulder Fox, thank you very much for using your Twitch Prime sub on me, man. Much appreciated. Welcome to the club. Enjoy the emotes. Yeah, it's a great shot. I mean, anytime you keep it short of this pin, it's like so easy. The putt is so much easier. So I'm already thinking birdie right here. But it's one of those like I was like, I was seeing a decent amount of break, but I'm thinking, and I've had this putt enough to where I don't think it actually breaks this much. And then you look in this view and you can see it's breaking a lot less. So you have to make one of two decisions. Like you either trust forward view, reverse view, or you take the average of the two. And when there's like a huge variance like this, I'll tend to more take the average of the two, and then I'll adjust with speed, right? So I actually hit this putt a little bit harder than I needed to, but I'm playing less break than what I'm seeing in this view too. So a little bit of an offset there. And just went with the misting. That's just kind of a feel thing. Sometimes I'm like, I'll get this like weird feeling like, oof, I'm going to miss. And then I'll just misting. Here I was debating if I wanted to try the hill kick. You can bounce it off this hill a little bit. If you land about right there, it'll kick down. It's about, I'd say 60% chance, but I decided against it. You know, we're 8 under through 8. Odds of me reaching with that wind and getting a heartbeat are really, really small. So I decided to play it a little safer. Unfortunately, with this wind, it's just not ideal. Tried to hold it up here, so I'm trying to pull it a little bit. But I didn't quite pull it enough to really hold it up against the wind enough. But I think even if I hit that perfect, I mean, I still have a terrible putt in, so I wasn't too upset about this. This is a pretty makeable pitch, I guess. I thought about going with the 17-yard pitch, but I've been, thanks to the E-Tour, I've really been grinding that 60 wedge pitch, so it's really helped my game out a ton from this distance. Like that 18 to 23-yard range, I feel like I've gotten so much better. So just went with the pitch with the 60 wedge, let it release out here. I thought I hold this. Because, man, and it was so close. But I felt really good about that line. The wind just kind of hit it a little bit more than what I thought it was going to. But nice easy birdie. So 9 under. Off to a good start. I'm like, please give me a straight tailwind on 9. I'll take a straight tailwind. And I get the headwind, which it's not a huge deal, but it's always tricky to play that shot. I always find it hard to, like, especially with a right to left. Now, if this was a left to right, I would play this totally different. Left to right, I'm throwing it long left, and I'm using the ridge to bring it back down to the pin. But with the right to left, I don't like going long here because I don't know what it is, but that long right putt is just, it doesn't quite read right. It's not entirely accurate. So I wanted to avoid going long here. And I definitely knew I couldn't miss late. Late is kind of dead here. So I had it at a full 3-iron. And so I backed off and hit 99% just because I was just worried about going long. I got the heartbeat, which is great. I put it short. It's not overly ideal, but I've had that putt so much, I know it's not going to break a ton. Like, it's very, very makeable. And it reads true, which is really important. Well, I will put an asterisk on that. It reads true in this view. If you read this in the other view, it can sometimes be a little off. So this is a much better view to read this putt in, by the way. Now, conversely, if I'm above the hole and to the left, I always trust reverse view over forward view. But you can see the dots are moving quicker here. And the reason why is because there's a slope. So in the other view, we're seeing the slope, not the dots, which is something you just kind of learn through experience. But that's why that putt looked much faster in the other camera. So really good front nine. Nice little 10 under on the front. We've got a great wind here on 10. I already know we're going to be hitting, could hit hard wedge or a soft 9 in, one or the other. Had a pretty good number in. It's like one of those where I think either shot's acceptable. Like you can play pitching wedge and bump it up a little bit, or you can go for the 9. I mean, I think if you guys watch my stream enough, I'm probably going to go with the 9 over the pitching wedge most of the time. Although I'm trying to get more comfortable with the pitching wedge. I'm making strides. But I decided to hit this about 96%. Miss right because you've got a hill to the right that it'll kick it back towards the hole. You can kind of see a little bit of it, but you can actually land that like 4 or 5 yards right, and it'll bump it back towards the pin. So you always got to know where your misses are going to be. Is that an 87 Titleist? It is. Yeah, I play the 87 Titleist ball. After extensive testing and sponsorship deals, we decided on the 87. Not an ideal wind here. I was like, ugh. I actually thought for a second about trying to bump it off that hill, but I thought that was kind of a dumb play. So I was just hoping to get it somewhere down there in 3-iron range, which it's a little tricky. This is probably playing like 225 to the pin, roughly. 225, but it's one of those where if you miss ding, taking this much spin off your iron, you will come up short and hit the ridge. So I was like, oof, we got to hit a ding here. I felt like my wind aim was pretty good. I just needed to hit the ding, which I did. Then I don't get a heartbeat, and then the ball doesn't turn because it's a 3-iron. I'm like, oof, this putt's gonna have a little break to it. So I'm kind of like, I'm looking up. I'm like, we're good, man. We're 11 under through 11. Like, if we don't make it, it's fine. Trying to get a feel for the read here. Normally, I would always trust this view. Normally. But having had so many putts on this side, I was like, well, those dots are breaking real fast. So I ended up sticking, I think I stuck with this line because it just looked better. I don't know. It's hard to read through multiple grid lines, but this just looked more accurate to me. Ended up hitting the ding, and it's like right there. When he gets to like 3 feet away and you know it's curling in, what a feeling. Like, it's just a great feeling. Yeah, really bad wind here on 12. So my plan, you can play it 2 ways. Like, actually, you can play it more than that. You can bump it short, like off of this brush, and try to kick it on. But I'm just never really successful with that shot. You can take it off this slope and try to kick it back to the pin. There's a risk there. So my thought was, let's just land it. Let's land it past the pin, and I want to kill it into the hill and then get it to come back. Well, it's a shot, I'm pretty comfortable hitting. I've done it a ton of times. So I was feeling pretty good. I was thinking it's like 95, 96% full back driver, and we're just going to try to just cream it into the hill. So I didn't quite hit my driver hard enough for one, and then I misdinged it, and I got short drove a little bit. So it was like it was a bad combination of 3 things: underhit, misdinged, and I got drivered. So this driver is not the most accurate in terms of like how far it'll go. It has a huge window of distances. But my thought process was twofold. One, with this tailwind, that means I have a headwind coming back, so I can hit a wedge here. Somebody was asking about hitting wedges on the green. Chambers is really the only course I do it. So I would do it on this hole in 18. Because this is just a nightmarish putt. So it's much easier to just wedge it, especially when I have full wedge in. So for me, like a 60 is going to go, it's about 80, 83, 84 feet, something like that, 85. So it basically works out really well because it's 90 feet here. So it should land, I don't know, 6, 7 feet short here and release out. Punch, wedge, or full. Well, you can't put spin on it. So you're definitely not going to hit a punch. So you're just going to hit full. Fortunately, on the green, you can't control spin. But this is one of those reliable shots. As long as you don't land it on the hill, you're good. I released out to probably like 6 feet or so, but really good shot from there. A lot closer than I could get if I were to putt it, And I've actually holed that shot a few times. Not much to this putt. I was just thinking, keep it on the edge and just play it firm. So good putt there. 13 under. Coming up to one of my one of my favorite holes, but in heavy winds, it's can be brutal with the right wind. But normally this hole plays pretty easy. What's up, Versace? What's up, Raven? Primer? How you guys doing? Freaking me out about spending 5K on that driver. I mean, it has inconsistencies with the distance. I mean, it is what it is. There's Chef UF, the E-Tour qualifier. Congratulations. Pretty easy number here. I thought about going fullback 4-iron, but I took one tick off. I wanted to go right at it. Like, I felt like I got robbed of that eagle last hole, so I felt like this is a really good win to try to hole out. Hit the ding, got the heartbeat, and it's just going right at it. Right at it. You can tell when I think it's about to go in because I won't fast forward. So if I think it has a chance to go in, I'll usually stop fast forwarding because I want to see it drop. I hit it pretty tight, a little tap in. So pretty good round, 14 under through 13. We're cruising. And again, I just posted this morning. I played one other time and shot 17 under, so we had to beat that. This win, the good news with this driver is with my old driver, I wouldn't have been able to take on the left side. I had to play out to the right, but the little extra distance on this driver into this type of wind allows you to play that left fairway, which is really a huge advantage, in my opinion. I pulled it a little bit, which I did not mean to do that. That was a mistake. Up, boy, yet. Man, we got another E-Tour qualifier in here. We got a star-studded field. So this always plays a little tricky. Really easy to come up short here, which I don't mind coming up short, but I don't want to go too long either. So I just kind of eyeball it. Like, I just add a little bit. I'll add like 1% or something to my shot, 1.5%. Didn't realize this isn't live. I'm an idiot. Well, we're just talking about the round because I was actually watching Josh do his WGT round, or I don't know what to call it, lessons, which was really good. It was very insightful. So I didn't have the sound on or anything while I was playing this because I was listening to Josh. So I'm going with a 5-iron here. And again, just adding just a little bit to it. It's kind of a tricky win, but the hole does kind of slope right to left, so I have a little room to miss late here. So I knew that I could rely on the hill to bring it back to the pin. So just kind of utilize the hill a bit. And it brought it back. I mean, I was like, ugh, sometimes this putt can be a little difficult. So it landed well. It just came back much more than I thought. I thought it would be more of like just kind of it would go off like this, not come back towards me. But the good news about these type of putts is you can be really aggressive with them. I'm just kind of assessing the dots. As you can see, like the first 2 dots near the hole are moving kind of quick, and then the last 2 towards us are really, really slow. So, but then in this view, the dots are moving a little bit quicker. So you have to make judgment calls. But it's kind of that same feel, right? First 2 close to the hole are moving quicker, and towards the ball is a little bit slower. So I think if I had to guess, I'm probably seeing this at like right around a quarter of a grid or so. Somewhere in that range. Just eyeballing it here. So I looked at a quarter, like, I think I'd rather just play a little less and just hit it a little firmer. So just hit it a little firmer than what I probably would have played normally. But cut the break off a little bit too. What's up, Scott? That's a big birdie. Now we come up to the tough holes. I think 15, 16, 17 are just so tough. You start off with this tricky par 3. You got a decently tough par 4, and then you got another hard par 3. So it's a really difficult stretch to play through, especially into a left to right wind here. Because if I pull it, then I miss on this low side, and I have this uphill putt that I don't really enjoy. And if I miss late, then I go off the green, and I've got possibly a tough bunker shot or a long pitch shot, something like that. So really, really, really wanted to hit the ding here. But I loved where I was aiming, and I had a great number in. So I was feeling pretty confident, and I felt like I was dinging fairly decent. I think I ended up playing right around 97%. It says 96, but it's more like 97. Unfortunately, that ball just started way offline. So it went way offline, but I wasn't too upset when I saw the shot because I don't know how many times I've made this pitch shot, but it's probably, I might go on a limb and say it's the easiest pitch shot in the game, really. There's just really nothing to it. So you can see the dots are moving a little bit right to left, but the wind's moving a little bit left to right. So in my mind, they neutralize each other. Neither's going to do a whole lot here. So it's just one, play it straight and try to hit the ding. I think I went like 52%. Yep. Maybe 52.5 there. Got the ding. Just hit a perfect little pitch. But like I said, that's definitely one, like your better players, you're expecting to make that. I ended up with I was really hoping for a tailwind here. I just wanted to kind of cruise in with the birdie on this hole. But we ended up getting the headwind. And so now I'm in this weird number where I can hit like I think it was like a 92, 93% 9-iron, which isn't bad. The only problem is sometimes that'll land short and not roll out. And so with that low percentage, you got to play that release. So a little sketchy. I decided I was just going to fly the wedge there. And again, after my E-Tour round, I've been putting in some work with the pitching wedge, trying to get a little more comfortable with it. I'm just trying to find the right spin here. I'm probably hitting it, I don't know, it's like 65% spin or something. 48%. Oh, yeah, that's right. I went the other way. Sorry. But I hit that perfect. I thought I hold it. You can tell because I stop. I thought it was in, though. So it just landed perfect, released down right, and we ended up making an easy birdie here, obviously. So now we're kind of cruising. I'm like, ooh. I hadn't paid a ton of attention to my score. I mean, I knew I was scoring well. I kind of looked up. I remember looking up right here. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're 17 through 16. Like, all we got to do is make one birdie, and we'll beat our round before. So I was feeling pretty good. And then we get another left to right wind. I'm like, crap. So I'm thinking about the wind I had before and how I dinged it, and I went right. So my plan here was to underplay the wind and pull it. That way I wanted to avoid being in the bunker right. Everything slopes left to right here anyway. So when you get a left to right wind, it just kind of doubles it a bit. So anything right of the pin here most likely rolls off the green. So underplayed the wind slightly with the intention of just trying to play a little baby pool here. And then in terms of my number, I think I was debating on going 4-iron here and taking spin off. Like flattish type 4-iron, but I ended up going away from that idea because I thought it was only Josh would play that, not me. So I ended up playing like a 60% back shot here. Pulled it just like I wanted to. Unfortunately, the wind didn't really hit it as much as I thought, though. And it came up a little short. That's like that weird little left to righter, but most of the time I'll make this. I felt pretty confident about the putt. But I kept it left of the pin, which is really what matters. So again, I'm taking my time because at this point I'm thinking like I am not going to botch this round over a missed 7-foot putt. Like that would be terrible. Over a slow moving 7-footer. But you can see the dots on the left are moving a little bit quicker than the dots on the right in forward view. So just kind of deciding. But reverse view looked really good. It kind of confirmed what I thought the read was. And then just went with the late misting just in case I was wrong. So dropped it right there. And then I was expecting a headwind because that's really what I get here. And I was shocked when I saw a tailwind. I'm like, oh, why is it pointing this direction? Something's wrong. So I hit a good drive here. Kind of split the fairway and was like, oof. Now we're talking about, potential eagles. Senior Noob Trollolo, thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated, man. Thank you, mods, for banning those people. So now I'm at the point where I want to land this past the pin, and I want to use the hill to bring it back. What I don't want to do is underpower this, hit the hill, and then I go long or something like that. So my plan here was if I'm going to screw up, like, do it long. Like, I'd just rather fly it long rather than come up short. So just trying to get a feel for the wind here. I'm thinking, like, I kind of like this line initially with a late misting. I was like, and then I changed my mind. I'm like, I'm kind of feeling the ding. I don't know why, but I felt like I'm gonna hit the ding right here. I move it over a little bit, play full power. Like I said, if I'm gonna screw up, let it be long. Unfortunately, the 3-wood did what the 3-wood does, and it just didn't start out on line. So it went a little left off the bat than what it should have. But I just barely caught that ridge. That could have easily gone the other way. Love your work. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. So I ended up with a really easy putt. Like, this is the putt you want. So this one I just took my time. Like, I'm not trying to botch an eagle here. I was pretty confident in that line, but if you just saw when I switched to the other camera angle, the dots were going the other direction. So I was like, well, I just wanted to be certain. But I've had this putt enough where I was feeling pretty confident that was the line. But just double checking it. And you can see I line it up in with the pin. I don't know, it just makes it easier for me to determine which way the dots are moving when it's kind of slow. So I ended up dinging it. You get the pause, so you get that sigh of relief, and we ended up knocking it center cut. So it was a really good round, 20 under. Could have been really good. I mean, 49 would have been on the table if we'd have eagled 12 and 8. Could have been a 49, but very pleased with the round. 18 putts. They counted my one as a putt, even though I wedged it. So we did have 18 putts, but 16 birdies, 2 eagles. Knocked it pretty tight. I don't know where my approach was, but we made 125 feet worth of putts. Longest putt made was 15 feet, so that was pretty impressive just in terms of ball striking and things like that. I thought it was pretty good, so put a number up for people to beat. I'm sure somebody can beat that. Eagle 12 opens the opportunity. If they eagle 12 and 18, they could certainly beat me in a tiebreaker. But yeah, definitely punched our ticket for the match play, and looking forward to playing in the event.